Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm No02. This is going to be the walkthrough for the third checkpoint of Act 2, the basically a boss rush. We'll just start it up right. We're doing it on Recruit just to talk about the strategies. Do literally a walkthrough of what we're going to be doing with our deck, what we're going to be doing in Nightmare Mode, the strategies that we're going to be implementing, and etc. So, I have two separate decks for Act 2 in my one video. That's because we can't really have the use speed for the Broken Bird mission and have enough damage and fit enough mobility in early enough to do Broken Bird and then transition into damage. Because Heralds of the Worm, Part 1, Part 2, and Grave Danger, all about grenade damage. This is going to be the easiest and most consistent way for you to beat this final checkpoint all by yourself. You can do it with the birds. It's going to feel and look a little speedrunny, but literally there's no other way to play it. Now, Nightmare Mode, if you're playing by yourself and you don't have bots, because I will say that these first two missions, Herald of the Worm, are easier, I think, with teammates. The bots just don't do damage consistently to the ogre. They're not always reliable teammates in that regard. And when we play this in Nightmare Mode, we're not going to really have the money necessary to buy any sort of grenade upgrades if we're by ourselves because of the bots not giving us their money. So this is why playing with teammates might be easier, because they're going to have other grenade damage decks. They're going to also have money and chip in, and everyone's going to contribute to the effort as far as getting good grenades and things like that. I got forgot to mention, if you're playing solo and by ourselves with bots, I recommend that you ferry 3 grenades down. Ferry 3 grenades down. Hop on the minigun. We can use the minigun to shoot the ogre. Obviously we want to. But on Nightmare Mode, you're going to be using the minigun just to buy time to let the ogre get close enough. Then you're going to nade the hell out of the ogre. Pick up your leftover grenades, whatever that may be. In Nightmare Mode, it'll typically take like 4-ish grenades. It's going to take about 4 grenades in Nightmare Mode anyways. But any excess is fine, right? We're not really worried about excess because we're going to carry them over to the next mission anyways. We're going to be using grenades for all 3 missions. So basically, you're going to use a minigun, shoot mutations that are coming at you, split that between shooting the ogre as well, and sort of how much you get to shoot the ogre with the minigun and how much the bots do the damage to the ogre will determine how many grenades you have to use. But then it's just once the ogre gets close, you throw the grenades, pick up your excess grenades, and then you get the hell out of dodge. You just speedrun it. In Nightmare Mode, that's an infinite horde event. At least it says it does, but I've sort of seen teammates hold it out, strangely enough. And that's it. And there's really not a lot going on in these 3 missions. It's just a boss rush. Literally a boss rush. Boss rush. And we're just going to be all about the grenades. Chemical Courage, though, is an important card to note here. You do need to... And I may have changed this from the video, I think. But I started using Chemical Courage. I can't remember if I added this later on or not. If I did add this in, I'm just having this revelation right now. 60 seconds is a long time in a video game. 60 seconds is a long time in a video game.
Rover 2, this is Hope
So just keep in mind that
Dr. Rogers is our best hope
when it comes time to throw the grenades, keep in mind when it comes time to throw the grenades, we do want to pop the pills if we can. Loot the area. In training mode, you still get the extra... Sorry. You still get the extra ammo. I mean, extra copper from the bots. But basically here, we're going to drop grenades right there. Pick up our extra grenades. We can jump down, do whatever, shoot the zombies.
Damn, you stink.
drop our grenade. I like to drop the grenades sort of right here, sort of a little more in the open. And look at this. When you drop the grenades right in this corner, I just walked up into this corner right here and then dropped the grenades. And when you walk up the stairs, the grenades are in reach. I find that easier and faster than trying to like jump drop the grenades over the ledge. And similar on bookworms, we'll just take this path on the left side here, clear it up. Note where the minigun is. We do sort of want like minigun RNG. We want the ogre and the minigun to line up so that we can shoot the ogre with the minigun. Because ideally we want to kill the ogre with 3 grenades and then kill the breaker that's going to spawn with our last 3 grenades. The trigger to spawn the ogre is like roughly this-ish. It's like lined up with that almost. Like as you're climbing up that, if you were to climb up over there, sort of thing. So basically we clear a little path to our minigun, trigger the ogre, shoot the ogre. No big deal. And obviously this is recruit mode, so it's much easier. Way more zombies would be spawning. Be ready to shoot the meatball. Not a big deal. Ogre's here. Blah blah blah. We would burn 3 grenades, and as soon as you kill the ogre, go and get your other 3 grenades. And this is key. We want to identify where the breaker is spawning from. Where the breaker. Do not miss your grenades. That's going to be the hardest part, really. It's just not missing your grenades a lot of the times. That's it. And really on nightmare mode, it's going to look almost this easy as far as grenading the breaker and the ogre to death. Keep in mind too, I've noticed this on nightmare mode. Destroying those will spawn a horde. Destroying those mega red cans, those mega canisters, will spawn a horde. That right there will spawn a horde. And I know there's a second minigun on the other side of this map, but it's just never worth it, especially if you have bots on your team to try and like kite the whole map around and kite the ogre around so that you can get a new angle on this different minigun. You're gonna trigger birds or sleepers, or the ogre will call another horde, or things will just spawn naturally over time. And again, there's not a whole lot going on here. It literally is just we're setting up for our grenades, and that's it. Setting up for our grenades, and that's it. Grave Danger, though, is going to be a little more tricky. There's sort of 2 ways that you can do this. Very dependent on how much money you have and how speedrunny-esque. The deck that I've demonstrated or showing off is that we are going to sort of be speedrunning it. We're going to be sort of speed zooming it. But basically the strategy is going to be we're going to buy 9 grenades. Sort of want 9 grenades. That's ideal. That's what I would recommend. Because in worst case scenario, each breaker is going to cost about 4 to 5-ish grenades. Depending on like, because one thing too that's going to be RNG is when the bots go down. Because when the bots go down, they're going to trigger Avenge the Fallen, and that can stack, and that's going to give us more damage. So if there's a bot dead and we have an Avenge the Fallen going, our grenades are going to wreck. So let's. So
if we're gonna do it, let's do it.
One strategy here that I'm going to demonstrate. So we would buy 9 grenades, and you should have almost enough money to buy 9 grenades in nightmare mode. The difference is going to be how much damage you take. Did you get pinned? Did you need to use your stun gun?
I don't need this.
Did you need to use your pain pills?
I don't even know what this is.
and etc. But you should be pretty close to 9 grenades by yourself on Nightmare mode. And I like to put the grenades here. Don't stack things in front of the church. It might feel like the logical thing to do is to stockpile in front of the church. But here I actually will show a little MS Paint here example of why the church is going to be a hotly contested area pretty much the whole run. Pretty much the whole run. Right, we got this little guy right here. So even though the church area is a circle, that's a circle, right? And we can run the circle. What we really want to do though is run a square. We want to run a square inside this circle here. And the reason why is if we're running a circle, and as we're running this, and right as we're running this circle around, the zombies are not going to be running the circle after us, right? They're going to be taking shortcuts around the church. The church is in the center. That center square is the church. The zombies are going to be taking shortcuts and sort of constantly rotating. The circle that the zombies are going to be running is around the church, because that'll be the shortest distance for them to try and reach us and catch us. The reason why we want to run a square instead of a circle is that we want to run a square, get to a corner, and then potentially hold in that corner for as long as we can. And if we do that, the zombie pathing will start to match our square. More zombies will sort of start matching our square. Then we'll run out of our corner, back into this, and we'll stabilize at the second corner. And all these zombies over here that followed us into this corner, their path is way more predictable now. Their path turns into a square. And as they catch up, and at the second corner, most of the zombies should be coming from one direction. There'll still be some stragglers coming from other ways. But as we repeat this pattern of holding out in corner to corner, the zombies will get more and more clumped up, and they'll sort of follow us in a straighter and straighter path. Makes sense? Got it? So we'll be kind of doing that a little bit if we need to. The only time that we're going to need to is if we can't find the breaker. So here is strategy number 1. We set up our grenades right here because if things go south and we don't have the ability to run our square, the church is going to be a hotly contested area as far as movement of our enemy, movement of the zombies. And so trying to run past in front of the church and like scramble and try to pick something up and pick some pills up and then pop your pills and then oh, you know, I put a Molotov here and I actually pick up the Molotov instead of the grenades, and it'll get you killed. So we set up out here, and we are going to run the circle. And the street strat is we're going to run the circle to the first snitch, and we're just going to kill the snitch. Straight up kill it. Then we're going to immediately sprint, whatever way, clockwise or counterclockwise, around our circle. And as you do that, the snitches are going to reveal themselves, and as soon as the snitch reveals themselves, you get a nice red marker around them. And you kill them. And we're going to kill all 5 snitches as quickly as possible. We're going to kill all 5 snitches as quickly as possible and trigger the breakers. And the key is we need to find one of those breakers super fast, like immediately. Hopefully we get lucky and the breaker climbs over a fence like right in front of us. And if a bot is down, or at that point, we'll then pop our pain pills. Hopefully we've taken damage at that point. In fact, if you have full health at this point and you're worried about not having full health and the game won't let you pop your pills, take a hit. Literally take one hit so that you can pop your pills. Because when that breaker drops down and we can find him, we're going to pop your pills and then grenade dump into him. And 3 grenades and maybe a little bit of shooting from our gun, whatever it might be, should kill the breaker. Killing that first breaker is critical because that first breaker will typically spawn the arena. Once the arena has been spawned, the other breaker doesn't seem to care or do it again. But we need that first arena to spawn and disappear immediately, because once we kill the breaker, we need to get back over here and grab our grenades. Once we grab our grenades, now we're in this position of like, oh crap, where's the second breaker? And the breaker moves pretty dang slowly compared to everything else. So everything else is going to be in front of the breaker, blocking us. Which is when we start running our square, if we need to. We'll run our square. And just sort of run our square, hold out in a little place for a little bit. Stingers, hawkers, stalkers will mess up our square greatly. You just have to sort of deal with it, improvise, shoot them if you can. If not, then sometimes you can't run the square perfectly. You just need to run where you don't die. Right? And basically you just repeat that pattern of running around until you find the second breaker. Try and shoot the breaker from a distance. The breaker will typically jump towards you. And then you just grenade dump into the second breaker. And ideally we can do that all in 60 seconds. That's the goal, is doing it within 60 seconds of our chemical courage. I forgot to buy. The other strategy that you can do, and this strategy works better with players, is you have one player who's bought a bunch of grenades and is running all the grenade damage. The other player has a bunch of flashbangs, and you just do the same thing. You either herd all the snitches together, or you just run around and kill them all really quickly as a team effort. But basically, you hold out in the church, and as a mutation shows up, you flashbang, and you wait. And when that flashbang ends, you flashbang again, and you need enough flashbangs to keep the door of the church stalled out long enough that both breakers eventually end up at the door. So you're flashbanging, breaker number 1 shows up, you flashbang, second breaker shows up, you flashbang, and then the grenade player grenade dumps at the front door. You kill both of them with the same grenades. And it's sort of like, in that instance, you actually need less grenades. You maybe need 4 or 5 grenades, depending on their bomb build. They should have a crap ton of damage. 3 to 6 grenades, depending on their build. But then you just need a crap ton of flashbangs to buy you all that time to do so. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing this strategy here, the speedrunning strategy.
Let's do this.
Right, so kill the first snitch. Typically the pattern is there's a snitch sort of in front of the church a lot of the times. That's the one we just killed. Then there is the graveyard snitch. Just this one. We don't have grenades. We don't have our grenades. Our grenades are on the freaking ground somewhere. Okay, normally carry your grenades. We have 9 grenades. 3 of them should be with you, right? So we killed the first snitch. This first snitch is typically sort of like here-ish on the front side of the church. Kill the graveyard snitch. And then we're running. And then there is the what I call the fountain snitch. Should be somewhere out here a lot of the times, but this is him right here. He can spawn right here, or he'll spawn somewhere out here. This is the fountain snitch. Next is this snitch, which I don't really have a name for. It's the other graveyard snitch. And he can sort of, this is the one that can spawn here or on the other side. The last one, though, I'm going to call this the parking lot snitch. He'll spawn here or over here even. And now we're listening for breaker sounds. Now we're looking for the breaker. Well, there's a breaker over there. Oh, both breakers are over there. Okay. We're going to go over there. We're going to pop our pills. He's going to jump. Wait for him to jump so you don't miss. And we kill that first breaker. And then we need to run back for our grenades. At this point in the run, typically your bots would be dead. Things would be pinging. You'd be getting health. You'd avenge the fallen is triggered. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Right, and now we just, again, we try and find the breaker. We can shoot him. A lot of times shooting him will trigger him to jump or do something. Oh, we missed. Don't miss. Missing is so important. Missing is so bad. If you miss, you lose a lot of the times. And that's it. And I know we're on recruit, but if things go smoothly and we pop our pills at the right time,
Appreciate the assist there.
we pop our pills at the right time, and one of our bots dies at the right time, you really can kill the breakers that easily on Nightmare mode. And that's it. This is just a boss rush. It's just grenade damage, just throwing the grenades at the right time, and just setting up our grenades. It's just about setting your grenades up, and that's it. So I hope this is helpful. Hopefully the Nightmare playthrough will also be enlightening as well. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I got some different content coming out soon here. It's going to be about some fun things. It's going to be about doing RNG decks. What I mean by that is we're going to roll a number between 1 and 155, and that's going to determine what our deck is. And so stay tuned for that. Should be a little, hopefully it will be fun. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the future.